What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another One Dream Fishing podcast. We got a special episode today. Today we're going to be talking about our most memorable fish catches. So I guess we'll just let Jacob start us off.
Yeah, so we're kind of changing up the episode today for y'all of those listening in on Apple Podcasts. I'm sorry you can't see the campfire right now, but we just had a little shore lunch here on Toledo Bend, and we're kind of doing that with a campfire style like storytelling podcast. So like Mark said, I'll start this thing off. So I'd have to say my most memorable fish catch, or like I guess multiple is what my story is it was in an SETX tournament, which for those of y'all who don't know, that is Southeast Texas High School. It's like a different tournament series for high school anglers, and it was towards the beginning of March. And I was going into this creek. We had 4 fish in the boat. I was starting to freak out. I think we had around 12 pounds for 4 fish. And I'm like, we just need that 5th fish so we can get in the top 40 I was thinking we could get into. And just kept on looking for that 4th fish. It got to like 1 o'clock and we pulled into this creek. I'm like, I just got a feeling we need to go to the back of this creek. And if I didn't already mention it, this tournament was on Sam Rayburn. And he started pushing to the back of this creek. And then all of a sudden, we just turned the outboard off. I didn't even have the troll motor down. And I saw a fish bust like they were starting to school. And I ran up to the front, didn't even put the troll motor down, made a cast with a Senko, and caught that fish. And it was just like the most clutch thing to ever happen. Like I got that feeling to go there, and then it just all kind of worked out together. And then at that point, we had, I think it was only like a 2-pounder. So we had around like 14 pounds. And we just kept on working that area. And we were able to find that they were schooling fish right off that point, tied on a rattle trap. And I think we literally sat there for the next 2 hours of the tournament and caught probably 60 fish. And it was just like the puzzle just kind of all fit together. And that's what made it so memorable, was just being able to actually see everything work out and just go the way you wanted to and have a blast. I mean, when you catch 60 fish in an hour to 2 hours, just every single cast, it's something else.
That's awesome, dude. Sounds like a lot of fun. So I guess I'll go next. My most memorable fish catch also was on Lake Sam Rayburn, and it was 2018. Me and Reese, we were fishing partners in high school, and it was our junior year, and we were actually fishing on Rayburn in the THSBA State Championship. So it was awesome. The first day we had 5 for 18 pounds, and Reese just wore him out. Reese caught 2 5-pounders for our bag, and I was just, all day I could not get a fish over 3 pounds. So we were in 12th place out of 225 boats going into day 2, and man, the second day started off just like the first. Reese started catching the big fish. Reese ended up catching like a 7-pounder and a 5-pounder in the first 15 minutes of the tournament. And I'm excited for him. We're a team. It was awesome. But I was like, in my head, I was saying, Mark, you gotta catch a fish over 3 pounds. And so we kept fishing, and it got late into the day, and we had a limit, and we had 2 small fish. And but we had about 15 pounds.
Oh, in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We had
yes.
Close to 15 pounds.
Yeah, 15, 16 pounds. And so it was probably like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was getting about that time, and all of a sudden we're dragging this offshore brush pile, and I pick up a drop shot, and I lay into this fish, and I was like, that's a good one. And I was just so focused. I was like, you have got to land this fish. The fish came up and jumped like 20 yards out, and you just see a big just mouth come out and tail walk. I was like, but I stayed calm.
My dad freaked out too.
Yeah, his dad, if you knew him, he doesn't show much emotion, but his dad goes, oh my gosh, it's a big one. But anyways, we got the fish to the boat, got it in the net, and it ended up weighing 6.5 pounds, and that just really anchored our bag for the day too. And we ended up with 22 pounds and ended up winning the state tournament. So that fish catch I will never forget. That was definitely my most memorable fish catch.
Yeah, it was awesome seeing him, just being in the boat with him, and he'd never quit. He kept putting his head down, and he kept thinking through what the fish were going to eat. And so I was throwing this big worm the whole day, and that's what I was catching fish on. And instead of doing what I was doing, he kept doing what was best for the team, and he picked up a drop shot, something that we hadn't caught any fish on. And it was just the fish were so pressured seeing my worm, and so throwing a little finesse presentation in there, he was able to get a big bite, and so it was awesome to see him lean into a big one. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
That was probably the most memorable fishing day of my life so far. So
Yeah,
Was that y'all's last call of the day?
yeah.
Yeah,
think so.
we ended up. We had that fish was pretty weak because it was post spawn, so all the fish were
Yeah.
dying. So we had to actually run that fish up to weigh him, and we weighed it in early. But yeah, it was awesome.
For sure.
All right, so I guess I'm up next. I guess so. The fish that stood out to me the most, it was just because it had this crazy story. Was in high school. It was our sophomore year of tournament fishing, and we had this was our first year actually of fishing, and we got into the state tournament, and it was wild. It was the second day of the state tournament, and we had a pretty rough day. We only had like 3, I think, for like 7 pounds.
Yeah.
It was a slow day, but the morning started off quick. We were flipping trees up north. We went to the farthest part of Ray Roberts, as you can go, and we were up in the trees. And we had to idle for an hour and a half to get to the spot. We
Yeah.
weren't sure if we were going to catch any fish or not, but we were just going to stick our heads down and see if we could catch any. And instantly we started catching fish. And so about, 30 minutes into the day, we had 3 fish in the well, and we look over through up the trees, and there's this giant wake cutting across the surface, and we're like, just looking at it, we had like no idea what's going on. And so I'm like, surely that's not a snake. And Mark's like, no, it's a beaver.
Yeah, I was
And
like,
so-
that's gotta be a beaver.
And so we're like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. And so we keep fishing, and all of a sudden this V that's swimming across the surface comes straight to the boat. And so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna troll over there and look at it. And so I look down, and it's like a 5.5 pound bass
Yeah.
that's like blind.
Yeah,
and
it
it's
went
just-
6 pounds.
it,
Yeah.
it was a huge bass.
Yeah.
It was just cruising. Like, we had no idea what was going on. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And so I just out of instinct, I dropped my bait and I pop it right in front of his face. And I just see a flash. And I swung on it, and it was crazy. It was just
Yeah.
like straight in front of the boat, and all I could do was hold on. And we landed that fish, and it was just awesome to see a fish. It was like sent by God. Like,
Yeah.
it was just so cool.
Absolutely. That was an awesome day. I won't ever forget that either, because Reese just dropped he was throwing a Texas rig crawl, dropped it down in like 3 foot of water, and then just popped it up right in front of that fish's face, and it just went. And I was like, oh my God, he's got it.
It was awesome.
That was an awesome catch. So, well, I guess that's it for the video, guys. I hope y'all like this podcast. If y'all want any more, like if y'all want to know some other stuff about us or whatever, just leave comments in the below, and just like this video, please, and hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. And
Yeah, keep on dropping ideas for podcasts. We're
Yeah.
really trying to branch out just from purely talking about tournaments or how to break down a lake or anything like that. We'd like to get into all kinds of topics. If y'all want to hear us talk stories, talk fishing stories, talk hunting stories, anything y'all want to hear, drop that in the comments. And if you haven't already, like I said, go check us out on Apple Podcasts. But as always, thanks for watching. God bless. See you on the next episode of One Dream Fishing.